Hey everybody, how you doing? How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? Sorry I'm a little bit late on getting this going, about 19 minutes late and all. But I just got off the phone with one of my friends. Hopefully everybody can hear me fine. So what I have going on is a little bit of Julius Caesar's writings on the Celtic sacrifices. The whole nation of the Gauls is greatly devoted to ritual observances, and for that reason, those who are smitten with the more grievous maladies and who are engaged in the perils of battle either sacrifice human victims or vow to do so, or vow so to do. Employing the Druids as ministers for such sacrifices, they believe in effect that unless for a man's life be paid, the majesty of the immortal gods may not be appeased, and in public, as in private life, they observe an ordinance of sacrifices of the same kind. Others use figures of immense size, whose limbs, woven out of twigs, they fill with living men and set on fire, and the men perish in a sheet of flame. They believe that the execution of those who have been caught in the act of theft or robbery or some crime is more pleasing to the immortal gods. But when a supply of such fails, they resort to the execution even of the innocent. And the author appears to suggest that the general public conducted the sacrifices, whereas the Druids acted as clergy. However, Julius Caesar apparently never witnessed such a sacrifice or spoke to someone who had, although there is a great deal of archaeological evidence to support Celtic executions of criminals. There is none that verifies ritual sacrifices. Then we go to the writings on Druids and war. The Druids usually hold aloft from war and do not pay war taxes with the rest. They are excused from military service and exempt from all liabilities. This would imply that since the Druids are not employed in military service, they would not perform the sacrifices. Now, as I have read on this stuff and all, we have gone to such lengths of saying that, oh, well, the Celts and the Druids were the ones that did all these sacrifices. Now, it's also been said that Julius Caesar wrote about the Celts not doing the sacrifices themselves. They were done in observance of the Druids because they were the one person, as it says in like a clergy or clergy member, like of a church or of a religion, or an archmage or archbishop of such and all, that that they would go and make these big wooden figures like the Burning Man, put people in there, livestock, whatever, to fill it up, set it afire and all. But it's said that the Druids only sacrificed animals for the most part, but some say that they sacrificed people when there was no criminals and stuff. Yes, they did sacrifice innocent people because at that time, in the Celtic and Druid perceptions, was that as soon as you die, you come back to something else. It was like automatic. With having that belief, yes, it could be thought that they have sacrificed people they were willing and all. And that's just some of the stuff that I went over earlier that didn't record. But let's get into the whole changes of society and all that. Now, the only reason the Druids lasted for so long, from possibly the Bronze Age all the way up to recent years in the 1900s, though it's claimed that they only lived from 800 BC to probably 400 to 600 AD. Though there's speculation that they've been around longer. And if someone has been indoctrinated into learning the way of the Druid, and they did their 20 years of study that you have to do, and normally it's by word of mouth, but they had to go through certain courses and all that, and two of the other three have passed away since, and I'm pretty sure that the last one has passed away by now. But when looking at all of it, how did they stick around for so long? Well, they adapted to their surroundings. They took in the views of the church and all that, and said, okay, we'll kind of go with this. We're still going to practice our stuff on the side, but in society, we will show what you want. And if you look at it, a lot of the other ancient religions and all had the same kind of people as the Druids. So ultimately, I don't think we can just call them one group on any of them, because I think they all ultimately came from the same area and mindset, and then went far and wide to study and learn and keep the religions going. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying everyone's Druids, everyone's Aztec, Mayan, Hindu, Tibetan, Catholic, anything like that. Do I think all of the religions have come from the baseline of a way of seeing? Yes. All the different walks of life have come from everything prior. So when you look at that, you look at society nowadays, and this is the randomness on the present, that when you have someone, say like me, that only gets so much money a year, right? If I want to better myself and move my circumstances up a notch, I can either put in the extra hard work and possibly fail, or find someone that's at that next level that I want to move up to better myself, for myself, and talk with them to get myself moved up to that level. And if so happens, maybe I exceed their level, because I'm always willing to learn and wanting to learn. And in turn, I go back and help them get back up to a level equal to or higher than myself, because that's just how I am. You help me, I help you. I know. And, you know, you have these millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires, whatever the case. If you notice, they're the ones that are too afraid to have somebody else move up to the same level as them because they don't want to lose everything that they have. Where in reality, if we don't all modernize out to where, yeah, that they could be a little higher in wealth because there's always going to be those people. But if society itself isn't well balanced and all, then there's no way that they can continue. Society must fall. And with the whole society part, let's look at present things going on and all. We have the elections and all. Well, when we look at the elections, we have a whole bunch of stuff supposedly going on. Right? Let's see if I can pull up that screen. And all. A tab. Da-da-da. Okay. So here we are looking at this. And all right. 76% reporting to 604.2 to 592.8. You've got those reportings and all. But here's what really gets me is you've got some of the main towns in a state being one color, i.e. blue in this case, and then you have all the rest of it being red. You would think that people would have realized what the electoral colleges were doing and all for so long, because it's like Maine. Locked in red, possible reds, possible blue, locked in blues, all that. There's a person pointing out about New York. You have most of Manhattan Island and all red. New York City itself is blue. Syracuse, Albany, Rochester, Buffalo, they're blue. And you have a couple little counties there. So when you look at all that stuff and you say, oh, well, what the heck? Why isn't Trump winning? Well, it's because the Electoral College gives the electoral votes to where it's mostly populated, like Albany, Syracuse, Rochester, Buffalo, New York City. I mean, we've got all these different areas. Virginia, you got Roanoke. That Roanoke itself is blue. Richmond, Norfolk, hence military bases. But yet, when we look at everything, it's blue, not red. Which I really don't give a flying flip who takes it, because it's all the same thing. Because let's take a look at something that you all might know. Birds. So we have birds, right? Looks to me like they have two wings. You got your Republican side, you've got your Democrat side. But when that bird flaps those wings, they do what? They go in the same place. It doesn't matter. That one's got 2 wings. That's got 2 wings. That's got 2 wings. I mean, they've all got 2 wings. And see, they're all going in the same direction. So if you think that the stuff's going to change out just because we get somebody in blue in office over somebody in red in office, you're lying to yourself. The only way there could be a change is if the government was removed. But since that can never happen, this is where we can take the lessons from our ancestors. Doesn't matter what ancestry you look at. Has nothing to do with DNA. It's basically looking at the past. That's what I'm talking about. The ancestors of the flesh and blood beings. They learn to adapt and overcome to keep their way of life. And if you can't do that, then you're going to make it hard on yourself to continue on. Now, the nice thing is, we can still practice whatever we want, however we want, as long as we're not actually harming another person or their property. And you know, one of my friends today works with a bunch of people. I don't remember what their backgrounds are. And they said that he got told that gays shouldn't have rights, they should all be killed off, and we should all move to a different country because Trump is a racist bigot and that he deserves to be shot, and that everyone that supports him should be killed. So, yeah, and fuck the police. They should be fucking killed to fuck all you Trump supporting racists. Now, see, there are some people that are diehard supporters and all, and there's people from different backgrounds. There's some that, yes, they are definitely racist. There are some that are not racist. But if you saw where the problem was in that bit of information, it's not about the gays, blacks, Mexicans, Trump, the police, anything like that. It has to do with ignorance that change will come because a different color of party is in the White House. 2 wings, right and left. When they flap, they're still going the same damn way. So there's no reason for all the hatred. Let's assimilate everything. Like, you know, if you want a geeky nerd perspective, let's be the Borg. Let's assimilate all the information that we can so we can survive and be better off and be a better part for society. And society will grow with that. But that's a nerd view. I really wish this thing would have recorded earlier because it would have got a lot better information and all out. But it didn't. I'm sorry for that. And I will talk with y'all another day. Have a good one. Keep smiling. Oh, real quick. Just so you all know, It's been said that next election day has been moved to November 7th, 2023. The reason is so the voting will be done and counted by the regular election date, November 5th, 2024. People are tired of it. So, I don't know. Maybe Congress will throw that little thing in there so that they can have their fights and to see who's actually going to win. And by the time election day gets there, they can have it all sorted out. So, y'all have a good day and stay safe, stay calm, don't do anything stupid. Keep up growing your beliefs and do your due diligence and research. Have a good one.